Dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly Essential Island Living team call. I'm Liza, and we are going to go ahead and just get started. So, thank you, everyone, for making time to be here tonight. It is August 10th. What? All right. So, I want to dive right back in, and we're going to be continuing to hit this topic until September rolls around. I just want to give you a reminder about the power of convention. So, convention is amazing for so many reasons. One, it's providing an opportunity for connection with your team, connection with your larger doTERRA Essential Island Living community, connection with the company, connection with the products, the belief, all the things. Community, right? Being together, and as well as being around other people that are like-minded. And even if you get a virtual ticket, you are still immersed in the community. Definitely the education, although, yeah, I did spell it right. Education, and last but not least, the new products. So just a reminder for you, and I'm kind of going over this because I did last week and I forgot to record. If you do not have a convention ticket yet, their price points start as low as $35 and move on. But you're going to be able to watch the new product reveal live, which you guys, you are not going to want to miss this. You're not going to want to miss this new product reveal. These are life-changing products that we can make actual claims around because they're backed by science and clinical trials that show their efficacy in a myriad of health concerns that are often high on people's lists. You're going to learn about the company, the science, the initiative, the business, and more. So, but a real reason why I'm plugging convention is that you get exclusive access to purchasing the convention kit with the brand new products in the month of September. Now, you will be able to purchase them in October, but why would you wait when you can get them early? Here are two more reasons to attend convention. The first is not only do you get exclusive access to the convention kit, but you also have the opportunity to participate in the Visionary Leaders Metabolic Reset Study. So if one of my leaders who has access to this PowerPoint could go in and start to click on the links and drop them into the chat, that would be crazy helpful. And this is open only to people who have a convention ticket and are going to get their products early. And it is being led by the doctors and the leaders in our Visionary Leaders group, because this is the focus of the new products. Metabolic processes, balancing hormones, balancing blood sugar, helping to maintain healthy weight. And then if you're coming in person, be sure to register for the Visionary Leaders Team Party. You can purchase tickets for convention at heal.doterra.com. And so if somebody could go into the PowerPoint and click on these links and drop them into the chat so people could access them right now, that would be amazing. Please don't join the Metabolic Reset Study group unless you have a convention ticket, but know that if you get a convention ticket, that this is an option for you. Okay, so how are you going to learn more about these new products? Well, at convention, but doTERRA is doing something they've never done before, never ever done before, which is giving us a sneak peek into the products before convention even happens. So this is happening on August 15th. If you're an Elite Plus leader in North America, you should have received an email to register for one of 3 times. And shucks, I should have edited those times. So it's all 4 hours different. So 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or 5 o'clock Hawaii time. Be sure to register for this because you definitely, thanks Kanan, you definitely want to be there. Now, if you can't be there, you're not yet an elite, you can't make any of those times, I will be recapping a lot of what they talk about here on the team call next week. All right, so let's just kind of dive in tonight. Tonight we're going to be learners. I don't take enough time to learn all of the education out there that's offered. And tonight with this call next week, we really want to start focusing on those metabolic processes of our bodies, our metabolism. And so we are going to listen to a call. If you guys did not know, the Visionary Leaders group, which is who were a larger part of team, smaller part of the larger Visionary Leaders team, does a call every Monday at 2 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Now, I know for a lot of it, that's a hard time to make it, but all calls are recorded and shared at hellovisionary.life. As soon as you click or go to that website, it will ask you to join the newsletter. I highly recommend that you join the newsletter because it is really, really, really amazing. You can also sign up for text message reminders as well. You can grab the protocols or find it in the Facebook group, whatever's shared tonight from this podcast. And now and I have a whole post on it in the not in the builders group, in our customer group. All of the topics that are coming up, links to listen to it on podcasts, on Apple, on Spotify, in YouTube. I mean, the Visionary Leaders group is definitely up leveling, you guys, and it's really exciting. So we're going to go ahead and watch a call, on balancing blood sugar. And that's going to be our team call for tonight. The recording is about, I want to say, like almost an hour, and we're not going to watch that long. I'm going to play maybe 20, maybe 30 minutes max. But I really invite you to attend to the call and really pay attention and even bust out your notebook and maybe take some notes. I'm going to do the same thing. Let's light the chat up with questions or testimonies, or if you did have the opportunity to already watch this webinar, if you catch something the second time that you hadn't heard the first time, please feel free. But all right, if there's nothing else, let's go ahead and do this. Although, why is it all the way over here? Okay, here we go.
Was due to high cortisol. Is high blood sugar.
Sorry, guys. Okay, here we go.
Hello, and welcome to the Visionary Leaders Community Call, where you learn to be the healer in your home. My name is Aisha Harley, and I am one of the founding members of this community, and it is my pleasure to welcome you. Today, we are talking about blood sugar balance. Did you know that maintaining healthy blood sugar balance is key to maintaining your health and longevity? Did you know that the average person consumes between 17 and 22 tablespoons of sugar a day, which is one of the many factors driving the elevated blood sugar epidemic that is affecting millions of children and adults? Did you know that stress is another huge contributor, and that low blood sugar can be equally as damaging as high blood sugar? On the call today, you will be hearing from Elisa Bonet and how she struggled with blood sugar issues and the tools she has implemented into her life to find balance. We will also be hearing from Dr. Josie and personal tips from our greater Visionary Leaders community. So let's dive in. It is my pleasure to welcome Elisa Bonet, who is joining us from Portland, Oregon. I'm going to hand it on over to you, Elisa.
Thank you so much, Aisha. Thank you all for inviting me to share my personal experience with blood sugar imbalances. And, you know, there are a lot of different factors that can contribute to onset of blood sugar dysregulation. However, in my case, I'm almost positive it was due to high cortisol levels and having that high cortisol for a very extended period of time. I want to just take a brief moment to explain the connection between trauma and stress with the likelihood of developing other lifelong health conditions. I'm a trauma survivor. And since childhood, I experienced severe anxiety, depression, PTSD. And as I grew, I had so many other health challenges as well, from fibroids to endometriosis, allergies, asthma, thyroid disorders, fibromyalgia, and the list just goes on and on. Because I had so many health problems, it took a while for them to detect that I had this blood sugar dysregulation. And I did some research, and according to the Center for Health Strategies, they found that when there is childhood traumatic stress and it goes untreated, the likelihood of individuals having other health conditions is very high. And so trauma contributes to not only anxiety and social isolation, but also to other chronic diseases like hypertension and diabetes and cancer and substance abuse. And there have been other studies that also correlate the link between childhood trauma and lifelong health problems. So when I was diagnosed in 2004, my doctor was upset because I refused to take the medication. I was really concerned about all the side effects. And I was determined to figure it out and balance it on my own. And the doctor basically said, it really can't be done. It's almost impossible for a person with your degree of blood sugar issues to regulate it naturally. But I was determined. And so I studied, I researched, I read countless books. And after a lot of experimentation and trial and error, I determined that by reducing my carbs drastically, I could stabilize my blood sugar issues. And my secret was eating about 10 to 20 net carbs per day, which is not very much. And it was very difficult to stay on that strict diet. And later, I just started to struggle with fatigue and mood swings and irritability and headaches. And I realized I just didn't have the right proportion of nutrients that my body needed. And it really started to affect health. And it wasn't sustainable. And it just started to exacerbate my other pre-existing health problems. So I started my doTERRA wellness journey in November 2015. And at that time, with all of my different health conditions, I was taking about 13 medications. I met Aisha, and with her loving guidance and expert direction, I learned about the power of essential oils and the importance of taking bioavailable supplementation. And so I progressively improved. Over the course of about 6 to 8 months, I was able to get off 12 of my medications. And I was just so astonished by the results I was getting. So I began to experiment with different oils. I did a lot of research on the various properties of oils. And I learned that I had this vast array of tools at my disposal to help me regulate my sugar naturally. And today I want to just share a little bit about my protocol, some of my favorite oils, and some of the recipes that I use. Now, remember, I'm not a doctor, and you always want to consult your physician before starting this type of alternative therapy. And a quick word of caution that if you are taking blood sugar medication and you start to eat low carb and you're using essential oils, you're going to get drastic results that can lower your blood too much. So that's why I recommend working with your doctor or another healthcare practitioner and making sure that you are always checking your blood levels regularly. So use your glucometer if you start to implement some of these protocols. So blood regulation, it's a very multifaceted, complex topic. And with our limited time today, I can't go into too much detail, but I do want to give you just a brief overview of the different things that have helped me throughout the years. And I want to explain the importance of supporting two very vital organs. When we are struggling with blood sugar, people usually focus on their pancreas. But we also want to look at the function of the liver, because liver controls your blood sugar when you're not eating. So when you're fasting, when you're sleeping, that's when it's pulling sugar from the storage and into your blood. And when you have a liver that's desensitized, whether it's because you have too much sugar or you have high cortisol levels, or maybe you have a fatty liver, then it's not going to work efficiently. And this can contribute to some of those health blood sugar regulation issues. Now with the pancreas though, that's going to control your blood sugar when you are eating. And so it makes insulin and it gets that sugar out of the blood. But when your pancreas is having trouble, then it's not going to efficiently stabilize your blood levels. And it's going to not get enough of that glucose from the food into your cells. And that can result in glucose spikes. So for this reason, later on, I'll be sharing a couple of roller balls to support each of these organs. I use about 14 to 16 oils on a fairly consistent basis that support not only my blood sugar, but also my liver and my pancreas. And all of those are going to be listed in the show notes. However, I just want to highlight two of my favorite that I use every single day. We were talking about this oil earlier, which is Slim and Sassy. And this is a blend that has various citrus oils and peppermint, but it also includes ginger. And ginger helps prevent blood from spiking, and it also aids when you have a fatty liver. And it includes cinnamon, which aids in managing your glucose levels by promoting a healthy insulin response. Plus, it strengthens your circulatory system and your immune system. And I even use cinnamon by itself, the individual oil. I'll add a couple of drops to my morning decaf, or I'll make a tea from it. But the Slim and Sassy blend will help even reduce sugar cravings and keep that spike from occurring. So I normally take about 3 to 5 drops or one soft gel about 2 to 3 times a day. So that's my first oil that I wanted to highlight. The second one is DDR Prime. This supports your nerves and your glands, and it's also very high in antioxidants. Plus, it promotes cellular health. Now, people with diabetes have a higher level of oxidative stress. So it's particularly important that we get support in this area, and DDR Prime does that for us. Now, I'm going to go into my protocol, and it is extensive. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed. It can seem like it's a lot, but just remember, blood sugar dysregulation is a serious condition. It's a chronic issue, and it requires constant vigilance. So we need to attack it from different angles. So my protocol has saved me a ton of money from regular doctor visits. I mean, don't get me wrong. I go to the doctor, I get my lab works, but it's only when needed. And in addition, I've saved so much money on my monthly prescription costs. But above all, what it has saved me from is having the complications that often are associated when you have this chronic issue. So my doctors are always surprised with my lab results because they're always within that normal range. And they even wonder if I'm really a diabetic. Every time I go for my blood work, they're very impressed, and they just tell me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. And this is the feedback I get on a consistent basis. So first, let me go over some of the foundational supplements that I take on a regular basis that I feel are my baseline wellness protocols. And the number one is our Lifelong Vitality Pack, which I love. I cannot live without my vitamins. And I take them twice a day. And so these are doTERRA's bioavailable whole food supplements. And remember, I mentioned I was having some nutritional deficiencies. Well, this has made a significant difference to balance all of that out. It's given me energy. It helps my mood. It reduces inflammation. And it fills that gap that occurs when you have a specialized diet like I have. So in addition to my vitamins, I take my enzyme to help me assimilate and break down the foods that I do eat. I take my probiotic, the PB Assist, which helps with my digestion, my mood, my immunity. And for my natural energy and mitochondrial function, I'll take Mito 2 Max. When I'm not that hungry or I just need a quick little meal, I'll do a doTERRA protein shake along with some greens to get that extra boost of nutrients. So in addition to those fundamental supplements, I also focus on supporting my stress levels. There was a study that was done on PubMed, and it was showing that when we have a glucose spike due to stress, diabetics cannot metabolize this hormone very well. They don't metabolize it properly. So the regulation of the stress hormone, it can be abnormal in a diabetic. And so for that reason, I like to pay special attention to keeping my cortisol levels down, to managing my stress. And because of my traumatic past, I'm more sensitive to being triggered by the stress. So I have to be extra cautious. But there are so many excellent options in this area doTERRA offers. And some of my go-tos are the adaptive system. I also take frankincense and copaiba several times a day under my tongue. I use balance on my feet in the morning and at night. And then during the day, I'm always diffusing. My favorite are florals or tree oils. Now, remember, when we inhale essential oils, when we do aromatherapy, it activates our limbic system. And this is responsible for our emotions, our memory, and many of our autonomic functions like breathing and respiratory rate and blood pressure. So that's why I love supporting myself with all of the different doTERRA tools and resources available, because they really, really work well. Now, in addition, you have to consider some lifestyle factors that can help you manage your blood sugars. I follow a healthy keto diet, and I keep my carbs fairly low, usually between 20 to 40 grams a day. I also do intermittent fasting. I try to walk 8 to 10,000 a day. And I also use apple cider vinegar with water before bed, because I tend to have higher sugar in the morning, and that helps stabilize that as well. And I work really hard at sleeping, because most of my life I've had sleep issues. But I find that if I maintain my stress levels during the day, I sleep better at night. And I use the Serenity soft gels and oil. I'll use some vetiver or some copaiba, and that ensures me 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Now, I want to look at some of my recipes for blood sugar regulation as we conclude. Feel free to take some screenshots. And for those of you that are tuning in on the podcast, remember that these are going to be available in the show notes. So the first one is 2 options. Remember, every body is different, and that's why I like to give you different options. I sometimes do really well just taking the Slim and Sassy, but if I get off my diet for some reason, if I'm very stressed out because something happened, or if I'm sick, I have a cold, then sometimes I need additional support. So here are 2 different options that you can try in a veggie capsule. And again, you might have to play a little bit around with the recipe to see what works for you. And so I will take this internally every single day, sometimes a couple of times a day. And for the next slide, I'm going to show you some of the roller balls that I use. So I use a roller ball every morning as soon as I get up. Takes me a couple of seconds. And here you have 3 different recipes that you can try. And I apply it to the arches of my feet as well as my abdomen. And all of the details for those of you listening, again, are going to be in a PDF that we'll be sending out later. And finally, to conclude, I also use roller balls to support my pancreas and my liver. For the pancreas, this roller ball, I apply it over my pancreas and on the bottom of my left foot. Twice a day, I focus on the arch because that's the pancreatic reflex point. And for the liver, I'll just apply it over my liver and the bottom of my right foot twice a day, focusing on the liver reflex point. So I hope that some of these tips help you and that you're encouraged to give them a try. And I thank all of you, Aisha and Erin and our docs, for inviting me to share this with you today.
Lisa, thank you so much. That was amazing. And I do want to remind everybody that she has a very extensive PDF that will be included in the show notes for all of you to reference. So her protocol, her recipes, all of the information. So I'm going to pass the call over to Erin, it looks like, and then we'll be hearing also from Dr. Josie.
Thank you so much, Elisa. That was amazing. I'm really excited to try everything you're talking about. I'm drinking apple cider vinegar right now, but I'm going to add it to my nighttime routine. I just wanted to come in and just make sure everybody understands how to get those beautiful protocols that she shared. If you're listening to the podcast, you didn't see the recipes. She's giving tons of recipes. So the way to get them is you have to be on our newsletter. They will not be in the show notes, actually. They are not in the show notes. I just want to repeat that. You need to get the newsletter. So if you go to hellovisionary.life, it'll pop up with an invitation to get on the newsletter. We send out an email Wednesday afternoon-ish with the protocols. It'll have the PDF. It'll have all of the stuff in there. So I just want to make sure everybody gets those recipes that wants them because they are invaluable. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Erin, for that clarification. So Dr. Josie, let's hear from you.
Oh, you know, I was texting with Dr. Louise and I was like, do you have something to say? And I was like, she's like, no, she nailed it. I was like, I don't have anything to say. And Eliza said so much. I think you said it very quickly as well. And it was incredible information. And we just love to hear other voices who are so inspiring and so well-informed. So I think I might want to throw it out for us to start having a conversation and we can bring in.
All right, everybody, I'm going to stop it there because you have full access to the entire recording if you want to go back and listen to other people sharing. Also, if you don't yet have the visionarylife.com sign up, don't wait, go do that now. And then let me know and I can email you the protocol that went out today via email. I also want to take a minute. You guys disappeared, shucks. To kind of go peruse I'm sure you guys can't see my screen anymore. The Facebook group so that you guys can see what I've shared here. Because here it is. Here is the new podcast episode from Visionary Leaders. And it has the link to the YouTube video, Apple, Spotify. It also gives the link for Hello Visionary. It has all of the projects mentioned and linked here. It has the ability for you to purchase your ticket at convention as well. And then next week, if you guys, oh, and there's me selling some of my stuff on there. Thank you. Those of you that bought and I need to mail, you should know by now that that's going to take a hot 2 weeks to happen. So, but next week, the topic is going to be on the thyroid. And if you saw this month, all of the educational posts in the group are surrounding the thyroid. And so if you want to, you know, if you're going to miss those calls, but you want to get reminders of the replay and stuff, be sure to get that. Yeah, so this is, yeah, and I love this, Miley. So here is another tip. Send your customers that are struggling with the same things. We all have them in our lives. You know, tell them to just watch the first 20 minutes. If they want the copy of the protocols and stuff, forward them the email that comes from Visionary Life that has all of the protocols mapped out, links, another link to Eliza, or I think it's Elisa, presenting more and going more in depth on her protocol. So, everything is there for you to be accessed. I know it just takes time sometimes to do that. Does anybody want to share anything or say anything as a reflection on what they just watched? Miley said her mom watched it today and she really liked it, and Miley's going to send it to her customers and share with relatives and friends. And Janice says she got the email. So anybody else have anything that they want to share around this topic, or no? All right. And any ideas on, you know, how to share it with a larger audience as well? I think people just don't realize, I know even myself sometimes don't realize how much access we have to incredible education all around us. And it's really just about tapping into it, taking the time to learn. So I thought tonight might be really nice for us to do that, because these new products go hand in hand with supporting these specifics. So if you go on the website and you try to buy some Slim and Sassy, you're going to probably see the soft gels are available, so you can snag those, but you will probably see that the Slim and Sassy is currently unavailable because there is a whole new reformulation and rebranding and renaming of that product while we introduce an entire line of new products surrounding this. So if you can catch the thyroid video next week, or at least catch the replay. All right, you guys, anything else that you guys want to talk about? No? Leaders, you guys got anything? For some reason, I thought it would be a longer call, but it's actually been a bit of a shorter call. So, all right. Well, join us next week. I'm going to talk about the MetaPower call. If you can make it live, though, it's always great for you to hear it firsthand, straight from the company. And then we're going to share some new tools that we're going to be offering for builders, and some kind of exciting new opportunities to collaborate with other teams across the state as well. So let's go ahead and take a quick team pick. All right, smile. Okay, everyone, as usual, thank you so much for showing up for yourselves, for your community, for your learning, for your growth. Tonight was really a short and sweet call, but I really appreciate having the time to learn with you guys. And if you did not get that email with all the protocols, please be sure to register at hellovisionary.life, but reach out to me and I'd be happy to forward you that email. All right, everybody, have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.